polite isn't always the easiest thing to do. There are many rules you must memorize and follow. At some point in every child's life, their mom has said something to the effect of no elbows on the table or say please and thank you. No matter where you are in the world, there are certain etiquettes that you must follow while at the dinner table. So if you're ever going to China to do some fine dining, here are a few things you might want to know. The first thing I'm going to talk about is utensils. In America, it's typical to see someone at a Chinese restaurant messing around with a pair of chopsticks. But in China, there are very strict rules on how to respectively use them. The first one would be no twiddling them. The second would be no licking them, so you can't lick off the food or any sauce that's on them. The third, don't use them to stir food. The fourth, do not gesture or point at people with them. And the last one is the most unique one, and it is never stick chopsticks in the middle of your rice. In Chinese culture, this is a way of sacrifice and is considered very disrespectful. However, in America, we have different utensils that we use at certain times over the course of our meal. Instead of just spoon and chopsticks, we have, like in this picture, our dinner fork and our salad fork, and we have a knife and a butter knife, and our spoons and our dessert spoon. And there's also the dinner plate with the salad or the soup bowl, and then the bread plate. Also, unlike the Chinese culture, we have a way to signal to our waiters that we are finished with our food. Imagine looking at your plate like it's a clock. When placing your fork and knife on the plate, place them at the time of 5:30. This is how you tell your waiter that you're finished eating. The next thing I'm going to talk about is toasting. Toasts are a way of thanking or showing gratitude to a host for bringing everyone together. In America, the host may toast first, but usually the guest offers the first toast to say thank you. Contrary to what everyone believes, it is not proper to tap your glass with a utensil to get everyone's attention. You should actually stand and raise your glass. And the adding to this rule is if it's a very small group of people at the table, the person presenting the toast may remain seated while he or she is talking. If there's more than a dozen, you are required to stand so that you may be heard. The person receiving the toast does not drink to his or herself, but he or she may smile appreciatively and say thank you afterwards. In China, the rules are much more strict. There's a certain order in toasting that must be completed. The host always toasts first with a simple prologue to let the dining begin. After this, you may toast anyone in the order from senior superior to inferior. In Chinese culture, to get everyone's attention for a toast, you may use your cup or glass to tap on the table rather than raising your voice. Though there may be lots of toast given, it is very impolite to urge others to drink. Also, there are a few similarities between the two cultures, such as all glasses must be filled in order to start your toast. Another is that you don't always have to toast with wine. You may also drink with water, juice, or soft drink. And then the third thing I'm going to talk about is fine dining. Different than American culture, the Chinese has a certain order that they sit in. The guest always sits to the right of the host, while the next in line sits to the left. While at the table, you are always accompanied by tea, beer, and distilled spirit, which is water. The host should actively take care of all his guests, and guests are not allowed to pour their own tea. Guests also are not to be seated near where the dishes are presented. In America, though, the food is presented at the center of the table and is passed to the right upon request until the person who requested the food has received it. There is no certain order that guests must sit in except that the host sits at the head of the table. Table manners will always be a part of life, but knowing what to do makes it a little easier to follow the rules. Entering into a different culture after leaving the one you know can make things a little harder and a little more complicated. So now, since I'm giving you a few simple tips, I'm sure your mom won't have to remind you